Everybody, how's it going? Well, I just went to the gas station, put some gas in my truck. It was $4.07 this time for the 89. That's 4 cents cheaper than last time, but still over 4 cents a gallon. These gas prices are still up because of the war in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz being closed. And unfortunately, this situation, I don't think it's getting any better. They're talking, they're sending more troops into the Middle East. They're sending ground troops. There's already some Marines being sent over there. They're sending troops. I think it's the 82nd Airborne. They're heading in that direction. And I'm going to be honest, what I think is going on, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think Iran wants ground troops over there. I really think Iran is wanting us to put troops on the ground inside that country. If you Google a topographical map of Iran, you will see that country, pretty much the entire border of Iran is mountains. And if you are going to move into Iran, you have to go through mountains. That is a great defensive position. Mountains have been used for centuries in warfare because even if the enemy, they may have a superior force, but when you go through mountains, you have to go through little passes. You have to bottleneck getting through there, and that's the perfect place to set up. You can take a smaller force with relatively cheap, low-tech weapons, IEDs, rockets, mortars, hand grenades, AK-47s in the right situation, and you can do a great deal of damage to an enemy. And I really think that's what Iran's wanting. I hope I'm wrong on this, but I think that's what Iran is wanting. They're going to try to turn this into another Vietnam, another Afghanistan, because they know the American people are not going to tolerate a lot of this. Over in Vietnam, the North Vietnamese, they came out, they tried fighting the U.S. military nose to nose, and it didn't work for them. They didn't have a very good time with that. So they went into this guerrilla warfare, small unit actions, and it really didn't matter even if you beat them in one of those little firefights. You hadn't gained anything. And all it was doing, it was just sending the caskets back to America. The American people got sick and tired of it. We saw the same thing in Afghanistan. We were over there 20 years. The caskets coming back home, nothing getting accomplished. The Iranians know that, and I honestly think that's what Iran is wanting. They're waiting for U.S. troops to come in, and they're going to try turning that into another Vietnam, into another Afghanistan. And they're just going to send the caskets back over here till the American people get fed up with it and say, we've had enough. I hope I'm wrong on this, because I don't want to see that. I hope I'm wrong on it. But I'm afraid that's what this is coming to. I think that's what Iran's waiting for, and I believe that's what they want. We don't have a good plan for getting out of this mess that we're in, that we shouldn't be in the first place. I don't think they have a good plan for getting out of it. They jumped in when they shouldn't have, and I don't think we've got a good plan to get out of this, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be able to come on here and do another video in a few days and say I was wrong, it's over, it's all settled, it's done with. But I've got a feeling that's what's going on. I think that's what Iran's waiting for. So y'all just be ready, be prepared. If you can have some extra gas stored up at home, don't know what's going to happen with this. If you can store up some extra at home, do that. Try to keep some food stored up in case things get bad and there's shortages in the store. Just try to stay prepared as best you can. That's all I can say. Thanks for watching.